Hello and welcome to the Road End podcast, where each week we will speak to a new guest, get to know them, and talk all things Liverpool.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Road End podcast. I'm pleased to say today I'm joined by Grizz Khan. Grizz has a huge YouTube following and has appeared on features for LadBible in that famous heated video with Ty, which I'm sure you'll all know about. He has features for 90-Minute Football and also the Big Six show. Thanks for joining. How's things, mate? How's the YouTube? How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for having me. Absolute pleasure, absolute honor. Brilliantly timed, I must say, on your part. We just spoke about an hour ago, didn't we? Or a couple of hours ago, and we managed to get it on. But, obviously, because of the circumstances, a lot of people had a lot of free time on their hand today. So we thought, let's get it on. Thanks very much.
That's what it's about, isn't it? Making the time when you've got it.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about you. How did the content come about? What made you get involved with the likes of YouTube and getting it out there, basically?
Very simple, nothing exciting. I'm sorry, but it was just a basic. I love talking football. I love talking. It starts from there, right? So I love talking. When you love talking, and then you've got a passion for football, and then you've got on top of that passion for Liverpool. Why not put it all together? The more the merrier. Try to create a little community. Talk to more and more people, exchange opinions and thoughts. And I've always been, even when I started off just on Twitter, basically like a few hundred people, and I just got an email one day from a company called 888. They just wanted to do apparently they'd been monitoring my Twitter account, which is scary enough as it is. Like, whoa, calm down there, mate. Monitoring my Twitter account, then you automatically start thinking, what the hell have you been tweeting? Do you know what I mean? I told the missus, delete all my tweets. I've got companies monitoring my Twitter. And I was like, it was all fun. And I realized later. So they just put me up against a famous Man United fan called Rants and Bants, something like that, back in the day. This was about 4 years ago. Just a one-off sort of battles where you sit opposite someone, and the question was, who's the bigger club, Liverpool, Man United? And apparently this guy was a very experienced, whatever you want to call it, debater or whatever the term is. We just sat across the table, filmed it, had loads of fun. And next minute I knew it was going viral on YouTube, and so many pleasant replies and comments saying you handled yourself really well, especially someone for a first time. And I wasn't even nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. It was all studio cameras and everything, and I got paid for it. And I was like, wow, this is like a doddle to me, because I love Liverpool. We are the best. We are the biggest club in the world. What can go wrong? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where it started from. And then just slowly but surely just kind of started getting into sort of podcasts, more podcasts, helping out others, going on their shows. And then 90 Minutes approached me and said, do you want to work with us? And that's where kind of it really kicked off. And ever since I've been with 90 Minutes now, I work with them. And then just recently thought I might as well make my own YouTube channel. Why not? Because when you've got your own thing, you know what it's like. Your times, your comfort, whenever the family allows you, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? You can do one of those ones. So, and that's it, mate. Honestly, there's nothing else. It's just a wonderful time last couple of years, especially being a Liverpool fan on top. So it's just grown from there, and I'm forever grateful to the support.
Considering it blew up, I assume that's where the fire in the belly come from then. You're thinking, I could do this more. I'm getting paid for it. Why not?
Do you know what? Can you imagine? You know how many times we talk about sort of footballers and say how privileged they are? Like, oh, I'd play for Liverpool for free. Or, like they're getting paid loads and all they're doing is playing football. Imagine that life. Well, lo and behold, here I was suddenly, like, according to my friends and family, absolutely talking waffle, but getting paid for it at the same time. It's like, what more does a normal person like me want? Like, I'm literally, and I'm just a normal fan like everyone else, but I love speaking about my club, and I love it. I can speak from morning to night about it, and then at the same time have opportunities that sort of help me make a bit of pocket money on the side. Why not? It's an absolute dream and honor. It's like, then you realize these people, they're absolutely privileged, and good luck on them.
That's sort of where I got the buzz from doing this. I can talk about football all day, but not just football. I can talk about Liverpool all day. And I don't really get a chance to where I work, because the people I work with aren't into football. Now, that seems a bit illegal to me. I need to have people around me I can talk about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, each to their own. I completely agree. So I thought the time that I'm getting spare, it'd just be nice to actually let it all out. Speak to people who have got the same passion, want the same out of it, and they could just sit there all day and talk about it.
Do you know? Shall I tell you when this kind of sort of fan media really kicked off? At the start of the COVID year. Because what happened, right, was we couldn't meet up in pubs, bars, clubs, cafes, right, coffee shops, couldn't even meet your mates, couldn't go out because we'd like, social gatherings were so important part of my life. Like I used to love meeting up with mates after work. And you know what, chat football. I mean, that's all we know. Do you know what I mean? So what happened was obviously that came to a very abrupt halt that year. And then obviously from there, people started realizing other ways or working out other ways to communicate and talk football, like you said. And that's where these kind of channels, fan media, podcasts, YouTubes, all kind of, I think, kind of exploded, right? And we took it to another level. And, out of all the horrible things COVID brought, I guess this is one of the consolations. It brought kind of a new community, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, because like you said, the opportunity to meet up with people just wasn't there. And if it was either 2 meters or behind a wall. It was one of them where in and out, so you didn't get nicked.
Mental, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Back garden job. Do you know what I mean? Under security, darling. We're meeting some mates talking about football, not allowed to. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. So
mental.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it has been, and it's sort of having a bit of a mental day today, aren't we, with the whole Queen situation? In terms of Liverpool, then, so what's your earliest memory as a Liverpool fan? And I know that's it. It's either a difficult question to ask, it's an easy question to ask, but for you.
Yeah, look, with me, it's a weird answer. People always tell me it's a weird answer, and I don't think, well, I don't know, it depends how you take it, depends how you feel about it. It usually gives an indication of my age away, and I have to mention it, but it's not a problem. I'm good for that. So yeah, look, just coming home from school one day, I think it was school one day, and then coming home, putting the TV on, because you've got to remember those days, all kinds of football was on TV. It's Heysel. The disaster of Heysel, and obviously you at that age you don't know what the hell's going on. You've just seen all sorts of images on TV, and my parents weren't into football, so I couldn't even ask them what is this, but I had a vague love for football at that age already. No team, no nothing, just watched football, and then you find out the teams involved. And then obviously one's an English team, one's an Italian team. So your affiliation goes with the English team. My general support started from there, like sort of following them because, it was there in the news and everything. Obviously, the most horrific situation and scene is not a joyous scene to start your affiliation with a club. That's why it's weird when I tell people the story, but there's no point in making it up. The beauty of it is telling the truth in these kind of situations, right? And then obviously I went absolutely in love with them when John Barnes joined, basically. John Barnes joins Liverpool, and that's the start of my love affair, my favorite player. Possibly still, I don't know, we might get onto that later. But yeah, since then, you're talking, 85, 86, around that period. And then just the love and affection just grew and grew and grew until now. There's not a day, literally in my life, there's not a day where I don't speak about this club, which is quite amazing if you think about it.
Yeah, completely agree. In terms of on a daily basis, I'll always find a way. There's always a way.
Always a way in any conversation, whoever you're speaking about. Something about Liverpool gets always brought up, and it just shows you the size of our club as well, really. Do you know
Even if it's not us, because we know that everyone likes talking about us.
Absolutely. The bigger you are, you're going to be talked about. It is what is mentioned in every walk of life. It doesn't have to be sport related. Sometimes, just for example, just telling, where was you last? You didn't come round. Like there's a family function. Oh, I was in Liverpool. There you go. Even like that. Oh, what was you doing in Liverpool? Oh, I went to visit a game. Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
It happens in family, even family gatherings. Like, oh, you didn't turn up to. I was in Liverpool.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
With your time off then, obviously we've had the European game with Ajax, which was a lot more like us. It was a lot more like us. What have you been doing with your time off then? Have you been getting more out there in terms of the league games, such as we had the Chelsea game, what was postponed?
I'm one of these, unfortunately, saddos that watches all kinds of football. So when Liverpool's not playing, I'm absolutely sad, heartbroken, but it's not the end of the world because I love the game of football, and because of the work I do for 90 minutes, I've got to watch other games as well.
Yeah.
Even though I rep Liverpool for them, we still have sort of content around other clubs and other football as well. So yeah, I've been catching up on, for example, the Madrid derby. Wow, what an occasion! What a game! Yeah, I mean, watching Madrid play, just my God. At the moment, they're probably the best team in the world. No, they most certainly the best team in the world, and they're showing it. They're absolutely wiping the floor with teams, and they're not even playing brilliantly. If you listen if you listen to Madrid fans speak, they're just warming up. Apparently,
they're only going to get better with that forward three as well.
My God, and that midfield,
Yeah.
It just shows you how amazing our scouting network is. We knew Shoemani's the only one for us. But do you know what I mean? We get criticized for not getting over the line, and look, there's nothing we could have done. He didn't want us, and that's it. That's the reality of it. But it just shows you we know what we're fucking doing. In part of my French, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing in the market. We highlighted one of the best young centre midfield, and he's proven it. So I get so sad watching him play like the other night.
I'm the same. He looks some player, doesn't he? He's one of them. They've slipped through the net. I'm sure we'll find another alternative who can be just as good. Let's just hope.
Absolutely.
Jude.
Yeah, exactly. But look, this guy, along with Jude, would have been just 7-8 years. Just kick back and relax. Kick back and relax. Just watch them to own the midfield, and obviously with the Elliott and Jones as well. Suddenly the outlook would have been so much more rosier than some people make out. But yeah. So yeah, look, generally just catching up with football around Europe. I haven't watched much TV, so obviously football consumes my day and night. I haven't watched much TV. Honestly, I haven't watched much TV. So I just literally asked Twitter actually the other night, what's good to watch these days? Like what's good on Netflix? I mean, last thing I watched was probably the end of Game of Thrones. And that was over a year ago. Maybe more. Yeah, I don't think I've started anything since.
I think I'm with you on that though. And like, if I'm not watching football, I'm probably watching Sky Sports News or something like that, or just sitting there swiping on my phone, Twitter, football, and trying to plug this pod and things like that. It just takes over your life, doesn't it? But I probably wouldn't have it any other way, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, of course, it is what it is, and we love it. And as we said before, if it's something that you enjoy and it's a passion, and then it becomes your job, wow, just be thankful and go with it.
Oh, I'd love to be in your situation.
Oh, mate, and I'd be, and it's one of those ones. I'd love to be in the position of someone who's doing even more than me and better than me. It's just like you're so lucky to sort of do this. But yeah, look, sometimes you got to thank your lucky stars and thank the Lord.
There's a reason you're in that position. So people have clearly monitored you, as you said, freakily enough. But
my God, yeah,
you're in that position, and like you said, many people would love to be in this position. So to talk about football every day, what more could you want? Especially when you're as passionate.
Yeah, look, yeah, exactly. My friends, like, they always tell me, we always knew you're going to do something football related, because even like college and as a kid and uni, just didn't do much in my qualification studies, because just football was part of my life. Like, I'd like to think I know more than I'd like to think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, as opposed to just pure waffling, and hence why I'm so blessed to be working with so many platforms. But it's humbling. It can be humbling, but it can be equally as vicious and with certain sections of social media as well. Yeah. But it is what it is. It comes with the territory. Part and parcel, Dom. You put yourself out there. You put your opinions out there. Some are going to absolutely vilify you for them and rip you to shreds for them. And some of them are going to agree. And that's what it is.
For this season, obviously we had the amazing start, Community Shield, and we all thought, okay. And then we had a few little weird performances that we don't expect, let's just say, from the club, from the team, from everyone associated with it. I noticed against Ajax that we had a lot more desire And I think that was the biggest thing for me. The first few games, we sort of lacked either that extra 10% or the effort. I couldn't pinpoint what it was. It just wasn't good enough. So after the Ajax performance, I'm quite encouraged with things. But what are your expectations for this season?
Yeah, pretty much the same as you, Dom, basically. And you hate to question the desire of a Jurgen Klopp team. You hate it, especially these set of lads. Like, they've shown us things that we haven't seen for years, like literally for decades and decades, and just brought glory back to our lives. So to suddenly question their desire and hunger is the last thing you do.
Yeah.
You know, you can maybe question other parts, and I don't want to get into it, but you don't question their heart and desire. That's one thing they've shown in abundance. So yeah, I know where you're coming from. There was something missing. You know, fatigue, mental, physical, whatever it was. But like you say, Ajax was much more like it. I had the pleasure of being there, and the atmosphere was much better around the team, the ground, the fans. You could see a steeliness in their eyes, the players. And, you know, it definitely helps when you've got the likes of pretty much a new spine coming back to the team in Matip, Thiago and Jota. I mean, which team wouldn't like to welcome them back to the fold?
Agreed.
And not only in terms of their talent, but in terms of their game intelligence. I mean, you couldn't pick more intelligent players than Matip, Jota, and Thiago. Honestly, you couldn't. People underestimate the game intelligence of Diogo Jota. I mean, he's not the most technically gifted footballer in the world, but I tell you what, there's a reason he gets in so many positions. It's because of his game intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't need to speak on Matip and Thiago's game intelligence. Speaks for itself. Suddenly you feel a bit better about yourself. Suddenly we feel a bit better about our future going into the next couple of months. Just want to get the players back, Dom, and hopefully injuries just stay effing away from us, because that will be absolute key to our season. I genuinely feel we can achieve a lot of our targets still once we get everyone fit and ready again, kind of thing. And you do need luck. Like last season, we did have luck with injuries, you know, and I think that's why we went an amazing run in everything, because of the squad depth. And I think a lot of people forget that, but our coach and recruitment team probably, if there's a mistake made, they probably fell for it, that the same players would remain fit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and maybe they shouldn't have, and maybe they should have, but it is what it is now. We're dealt the card we've got now, and we have to just get on with it.
Well, as you mentioned before, there's pretty much a spine coming back into things, and there's a lot more to come back into that squad as well. Now, that's when you look at it, isn't it? When you start seeing the likes of, when you see Thiago on top of his game, like you said, you don't even have to question, or you don't even have to talk about him. He speaks for himself. But just having him on that pitch, it just makes everything that 10 times better to watch, doesn't it?
You just relax, don't you? Everyone around you knows that top dogs here. Do you know, when you're in any walk of life, any business that you're doing, any work, you know, your colleague, when you know the top colleagues here, the top workers here, the top whoever, salesman's here, the main man is here, you kind of, there's two ways of looking at it. You kind of relax and your performance improves as a result. Or you want to do better and impress him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So either way, it's a win-win situation, right? And yeah, you could see it. Fabinho, who I've been critical of, and people have said, oh my God, Grizz, stop this agenda. And I said, agenda for what? I want agenda because I know how good Fabinho is. That's my agenda. My agenda is, I know Fabinho is one of the best DMs in Europe, and at the moment he's playing like dog shit. That's my agenda, no other agenda. I want him to get back to that level. Suddenly we saw a better Fabinho. Suddenly we saw a better Virgil. Suddenly we saw a better Trent. And it emanated throughout the whole team. You know, each one of those players, whatever position they played in, their compatriots on that side and that area of the pitch suddenly were better. Jota had Diaz and Salah, who were far better. Thiago had Fabinho, who was suddenly better, and Matip had Virgil, who was suddenly better. Do you know what I mean? So the connections were back.
With Matip, for me, I don't think people realise how good he is, because he doesn't get spoke about enough, because he's got the colossal Verge next to him. Now, for me, I don't see many players like him in, never mind European, world football, who can bring a ball out the way he does, and just the calmness he's got. I used to be worried when I seen him have this little dance on the ball. But it's part and parcel of his game. Now, when he does it, I don't feel like that anymore. I just think you're going to take 2 or 3 on it.
But it's amazing, because look, you're spot on. I used to think exactly the same. I was like, what is this? Like, he's going to get found out in the Premier League. He needs to fix up. And then what happens? I can probably, with the help of you, I don't even think we could think of 5 incidents that we can remember that led to goals from Matip's foolhardiness, or whatever you want to call it, on the ball, or lapsadaisical on the ball. I can't think of 5. I can't even think of one at the top of my head. Maybe there's an odd one or two. Do you know what I mean? Where he's come out of the ball, got caught, and we've got. But how many times have we know? And I bet you we can't even on both of our hands, sort of. Both our hands are not enough to mention the amount of chances he's created or goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
it was such a relief, wasn't it? That goal, what he scored, and he brought it out on a 1-2 and then buried it. That was what we've been hoping for years.
Leeds, oh, what a goal! What a goal! We needed one of those to end up in the back of the net, and brilliant. It just made it look so easy, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know when you see the old black and white highlights of sort of Franz Beckenbauer do it and Bobby Moore do it? We think to yourself, well, sod them. We've got our very own Joel Matip, mate.
I genuinely think, do you know, if he had an 80, 90 million price tag on him, he'd get talked about more. But because he was a free transfer, you wouldn't even know he existed.
I used to get angry and frustrated by how much he doesn't get rated. I can't give a. I'm just so happy he's ours.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love it. We got him for free transfer, as you said. I think he eclipses James Milner as best free transfer for Liverpool. You know, and that's tough because I love James Milner.
Yeah.
Love James Milner. But I think Joel Matip probably eclipses him, and that's some going.
It is. The two of them, free transfers, I tell you what, the two of the bargains of the Premier League, aren't they?
In futures to come, when people think, oh, that must have been some defender, I wonder how much they bought him for, and people turn around and say, free transfer from Schalke. Free transfer from Schalke. I was like, wow.
He's just exceeded everything, hasn't he?
Oh, and more.
Yeah.
And more.
We asked our guests to choose their ultimate five-a-side team who they've seen live playing for Liverpool. Let's find out what they said.
I like to finish with the ultimate, well, your ultimate five-a-side team. So this is a case of players that either you've watched growing up or also players now, just across the years of what you've seen live for Liverpool.
Wow. Okay. You didn't give me much time to prepare for this, so it's going to be off the cuff. I'm probably gonna forget some absolute gems, but I tell you what, I'm going for a surprising goal straight away. Everyone's going to assume Alisson. So in a five-a-side, I want my keeper to be brilliant with the ball. And Pepe Reina is the one I'm going for, because I thought Pepe Reina was literally the Edison version, like what we had. He was brilliant with the ball at his feet. And I know people forget, I know people remember him for the last season or two, but he was magnificent at times for us. Brilliant goalkeeper. Do you know
he also had that spell in, I can't remember what game it was, where he come into centre mid, so he was clearly valued with the ball.
He was indeed, mate. Honestly, he was class on the ball. Alisson still gives me the shits. I'm not going to lie, Dom. Every time the ball goes back to him, he gives me the shits. I don't know. He gets away with a lot, and it looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he just still gives me the shit. All right, five-a-side. So what are we looking for? We're looking for one defender, right? It's got to be Joel Matip. I'm telling you, bringing out the ball. Come on, people are going to try it, think he's a defender. Well, he will stop you because he reads the game like anything, like one of the best readers of the game ever. And then he'll just suddenly, because five-a-side's all about everyone's got one man to mark. You just try to stay with them. Well, good luck with that if Joel Matip's getting the ball.
Telescopic legs.
Telescopic, yeah. So Joel Matip goes in there straight away. Thiago. Look, this is fantasy, right? I'm going to go for it here. There's not much. Oh, shit. How am I going to leave Steven G?
I'm so glad you said this.
I'm not leaving him out. I'm not leaving him out. I can't. Oh, shit. It's too hard because the other two, how can I leave out of a five-a-side? Do you know what I mean? All right. So Suarez is already in there somewhere, right? So you've got Suarez somewhere, right? I don't know where. Wherever Suarez is in there, I'm going to have to leave out Mohamed Salah. So I'm going to leave out Mohamed Salah. I'm going to have Suarez, Matip, Stevie G. What you do with the other one?
Thiago.
Well, Thiago, but then I'm thinking Sadio Mane probably or would be one of the best five-a-side players you can possibly find.
Now, this is why I love this part of it.
And let's not forget Sturridge in his prime.
Mate, unbelievable finisher.
13, 14, he was the best player in the world, like along with Suarez, top 3 strikers in the world. I can't remember who, I don't give a shit who the others were for the other teams, but we had 2 of the top 3. I'm going to go with Stevie G, Matip, Suarez, Pepe Reina, and then Thiago Alcantara.
He's stuck with it. I love it. I
tell you what, can you imagine that? Matip at the back, Thiago and Stevie G, and then Suarez up front.
We have been spoiled, haven't we?
We have. We're missing Bobby Firmino. Can you imagine leaving Bobby Firmino out of a five-a-side? I mean, you ask players and they say, who's the most skillful player in training? Everyone says Bobby Firmino still. Can you imagine him on a 5-side? It'd be absolute pleasure to play with him. But yeah, that was one hard question. But yeah, I think we've got there. Yeah, not bad.
Everyone's different outlook. It's just great, isn't it? It's great that you've been spoiled that, with that many players that you haven't even named a few. But
you can't even argue. Imagine you picked a 5-a-side and you didn't pick none of them. No one would argue because they're all brilliant and magnificent.
I think the certainty in every team seems to be Stevie and Luis Suarez, because
has to be.
That's they're the best, in my opinion. They're the best players I've ever seen. Suarez is the best player I've ever seen live over a consistent period in front of me. And Gerrard's just Gerrard. I don't even have to give any reason for that. He was everything, wasn't he?
Superman, our version of Superman, literally our version of Superman. People forget some of the teams he played in when they're comparing other players to him. Honest to God, people forget. People don't know about some of the teams. The younger generation just thinks, oh, Kevin De Bruyne, wow. Yaya Toure, wow. Don't get me wrong. Absolute magnificent players. Magnificent players.
But in a magnificent squad.
In magnificent squads. Mm-hmm. And some magnificent coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, Stevie G played under some, well, we're not even going to spoil the end of this pod by mentioning some of them. But yeah, Stevie G was our very own, literally our very own Superman.
Yeah, his back must be absolutely killing nowadays from carrying that team.
And now he's carrying this awful Aston Villa squad as well now. My God. I do feel for it.
I won't keep it any longer because I know you're a busy man and you've got work that you need to do as well. But I'd just like to send a massive thanks to you for coming on at such short notice. It's been really good to get to know you. It's a nice, calm presence on the pod. And
no, it's been brilliant, mate. It's been an absolute honour. You don't need to thank me. It's been very, very pleasurable. And as I said, like-minded Liverpool fans. When we can talk to like-minded Liverpool fans, what better?
Yeah, I'd just like to wish you luck with everything that you're doing as well, because, like I said, it's great to watch, it's great to listen, but it's also good to listen to people who actually know what they're talking about, because there's too many out there who don't.
I appreciate them, and as I said, I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, I'll speak to you soon.
Definitely.
Thanks to everyone for listening to today's episode. Don't forget to follow our social media, twitter.com/theroadendpod, and also our Instagram page, instagram.com/theroadendpod.